Candidates for County Commissioner, term starting 1/3/2017. We'll begin with Peggy Carlo.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and I would like to thank the League of Women Voters and ATEC for hosting this, giving an opportunity to see the candidates for County Commissioner. My name is Peggy Carlo, and I am your County Commissioner, and I have been your County Commissioner since 2008. I was a former Saybrook Township trustee. I have 25 years of healthcare experience, and I graduated from Chardon High School. I did not live in Ashtabula all my life, but I moved here shortly after I met my husband and raised my family. We live in Saybrook Township, and I worked at the hospital, as I said, for 25 years, where I had the opportunity to be involved in many things in the area. So I feel that my service record in the county as a trustee and working in healthcare has given me the experience to make me a better, knowledgeable county commissioner. Now, I'm not going to go back over the things that my colleague has stated, Mr. Claypool, but one of the things I hope to accomplish when, if I am elected again, I want to complete the Ashtabula County Emergency Operations Center. This project was talked about for years when I was a trustee in Saybrook and many other townships. We just couldn't get it off the ground because, as all townships, including myself when I was a trustee, were very territorial. But we always felt, as time went on, that we needed to have a central operations center to run our emergency operation out of, and that would house all of the communication centers. Well, recently, in the past 2 years, the state has made some drastic changes in the E911, E911 system, and they are proponents of centralizing to make it more efficient and to have a more organized operation. We feel that this will be a safer for the community and also safer for our law enforcement and anybody that's dealing with people in Ashtabula County. This has been an ongoing thing. Now that we've got the community together, I know with the Sheriff Department, the Sheriff has worked very closely with us, and Mike Fitchett, our EMA director, and we have now the CAD system almost in all the villages and the cities, all except for Ashtabula City, but the Geneva, Conneaut, the villages, the fire departments, and the CAD system is nothing more than a computer-aided dispatch system right in the car. This provides a safer operating system throughout the county. If something's happening here and they're called into Geneva, that deputy knows exactly, with the dispatcher, knows exactly where they are and can provide that service. So I do feel that this is something that we've worked on. We had an outside consultant company come in. Actually, it was the same one that the state of Ohio used. It was Kimball Consultant Services. We worked with everybody in our community, all of the law enforcement, all of the city managers, the townships, anybody that was really interested. We held public meetings. We invited everybody to come and give their opinion. The consultant, once we selected Kimball, they went out and worked with all of the townships, fire departments, ambulance companies, anybody in the safety forces. They gave their opinion. Kimball went back, took all of those opinions, collected them, and came back to the county with a recommendation and said, we believe that this would be the best system to have one dispatch center or one communication center or emergency operations center, whatever you want to call it, but we are going to house it all in one area. We are in the process of leasing land. That would be a 40-year lease and go back to the county. We will be able to operate that. We will secure grants for the building itself because that is a part of our Perry operation, and they will provide some, First Energy will provide some grants, but we will have the money to operate it because we have our 911 operation and also our dispatching. So it's not a matter of that we won't be able to operate it. But I have heard that there's been comments that we should combine all that and make it a part of our jail. Well, that is not a good, in my opinion, and in the consultant's opinion, that's not a good recommendation, because this is, you want to have it separate in case there is a, a disaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine Whittington.
We're waiting for our
Well,
time.
Now begin.
Well, my name is Catherine Whittington, and I just want to thank ATEC and the League of Women's Voters for inviting me here tonight to speak to you. I am running for county commissioner. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration, along with 22 years of advocating for children and families. I have grant writing experience. I brought in over $500,000 to Children's Services. I am a former Children's Service employee. When I decided to run, I had to leave my position. I was a classified government employee, and you cannot run for a partisan position. So I made the choice to step down my position and run for county commissioner. I am the former outreach coordinator for Geo Community Development. My paid position has ended there. We had a grant, and we are looking for other grants right now to help the facility move forward with some other programming, but I still volunteer my time. We serve over 27,000 pounds of food every month, along with our soup kitchen as well and our clothing bank. I decided to run back in 2014. We were the victims of a burglary in October of 2013. Matter of fact, we hit our 3-year anniversary on Sunday. We are the largest burglary in this county to this day. It was a heroin-driven crime. I am very thankful to our detectives at our Sheriff's Department, along with Mr. Irochi's office. They have worked tirelessly on this case. And, you know, as a victim, you really need to know that people are advocating for you as well. And their offices still to this day. There were 13 people involved, and 2 have been convicted so far and sentenced. What I learned about after being a victim of a crime and this heroin epidemic that is not just in our county but across the United States is that we lack services, and we need to address those services. We're talking about services, we're talking about where we need to go, but we need to start looking and planning and putting something into action. We need to stop losing our children, our sisters, our brothers to this epidemic, our husbands, our wives, aunts, uncles. We had 3 overdoses in the last week. That's too much. We need to stop talking and start putting a plan into action. What that plan is, we need to bring all of our stakeholders to the table, our judicial system, our law enforcement, our residents, our mental health, our state and local government officials together to a table to decide what is the best way to move forward with this. We need a treatment facility, first and foremost, in our community that will address long-term issues. We can't start addressing the heroin epidemic until we actually have a treatment facility that is a long-term facility. Once we can address that, we can start addressing other issues in our community, such as the crime, economic development, jobs. My husband and I are small business owners. We have a hard time employing people that can pass a drug screen. So it's across the board as far as this epidemic goes.
Thank you, Catherine.
Nope.
Questions? We've got lots of questions. I don't think we'll get to all of them. What are your plans for bringing jobs to Ashtabula County that pay a living wage? Peggy Carlo.
Well, that's something we work on all the time, the Board of Commissioners. We work with our growth partnership in running down leads that come in through Jobs Ohio. We work with the Port Authority, and I think it was mentioned earlier that we have worked with our farming with the Alatero out in Andover. We are working on a plan for the sea plant to disperse water, raw water that's needed. And I think that's something that we do all the time. But understand that the county commissioners cannot create jobs. They can create the environment for jobs to come here. So I think that is the role of the county commissioner.
Mrs. Whittington.
Well, the role is not to create jobs. The commissioners can't do that, but it is to facilitate an environment and a team of people that can bring actual businesses here, and the businesses will be the ones that are actually creating the jobs.
How can taxes be reduced in Ashtabula County? Ms. Whittington.
Well, the county commissioner's role is not to increase or decrease taxes, so that is not a role of the county commissioner. However, there is that possibility of facilitating communication at the state level that, you know, we can look at what needs to be reduced. But, you know, we have to make sure that all of our agencies that we oversee are properly funded and are adequately receiving money so that they can continue to operate.
Ms. Carlo.
Well, as that's quite true, the county commissioners, that's not our responsibilities, but we work very closely with our county auditor to make sure that whatever we can do, we do, and we work with our state representative, and he represents us very well in the state to assure that our taxes are not outrageous. I believe Ashtabula County is probably one of the least expensive places to work and live right now as far as taxes.
Thank you. A recent report from Ashtabula Growth Partnership revealed only 9% of county residents have a bachelor's degree. What can you do to improve this? Ms. Carlo.
Well, I think that we can always work toward creating an environment where there's a better opportunity for students to go to college, but not everybody needs to go to college or wants to go to college. We have a great technical school. We're right here as we speak in ATEC that provide training for jobs, well-paying jobs. And I think if you want to go to school, that's something that we have to plan. We have to work toward grants, you know, funding service organizations that help. But I think that's a big responsibility of the parents. It's a foundation in the home. And the commissioners, of course, help and assist in any way we can in the education process.
Ms. Whittington.
Can you repeat the question?
A recent report from Ashtabula Growth Partnership revealed only 9% of county residents have a bachelor's degree. What can we do to improve this, or what can you do to improve this?
Well, as Ms. Carlo stated, that's not what the commissioners do. However, once again, we can facilitate, educate. Not everybody is, you know, going to go to college. My husband is a tradesman. He is a mason. It is a dying trade. And so, you know, we work closely with ATEC to encourage students to go to the masonry class so that we can have masons out there and carpenters and you know, there's many opportunities right here at ATEC. I agree with Ms. Carlo also that, you know, college is something that is a family decision. It's what does the child want to be? What are his passions or her passions, her dreams? Where does she want to work or he wants to work? What does he want to accomplish?
Thank you. Numerous questions about the jail and the possibility of building a new facility. Ms. Whittington, your thoughts on that and how to pay for it?
Well, there is a board, the Community Corrections Board, that is looking at that. It's gone out. Judge Schroeder touched on that already. We all agree that, you know, we have a 109-bed facility and that it is overcrowded, and not up to code. So we do need to address the issue. It is currently being addressed. I do believe that it should be taken to the voters once a decision is made, so that the community can actually help to be part of that decision.
Thank you. Peggy.
The jail is it's a huge, complex situation, and it's not an easy answer. And there are many things that have to be decided before we even get to the stage of building. Whatever the decision from the Community Corrections Board, the Board of Commissioners will work with that, but ultimately, as stated before, it's going to be the decision of the people.
Thank you. What are the two major priorities you need to attack next, or that we need to attack next as County Commissioner?
Well, I think we always have to look for ways that we can improve our infrastructure, and that brings jobs into the area. We have to educate, help educate, provide the foundation for education resources in the county, and we do have to work with our community on the drug addiction. It's a huge problem. It affects a lot of areas, the workforce, and I think that we do overlook one thing, though, is we still have to continue to improve our parks, our quality of life, and that's all a part of the whole ball of wax for Ashtabula. So we have many things that we have to do, and we have to get started pretty quick.
Thank you. Ms. Whittington.
I believe that budget being the first and foremost, we have to make sure that all of our departments are adequately funded, but making sure that they have all the tools, and if there is funding available to bring into their departments, that we're utilizing grant funds to their fullest to be able to bring into that area. Also, the drug addiction, I think everybody will agree, is a very important issue. It ties to everything, including the infrastructure. You know, we have to address that and move forward with it before we can really address other issues.
What is being done to improve the properties owned by the county? And then the next question is, why are they not all open to the public? Ms. Whittington.
What was that question?
What is being done to improve the properties owned by the county, and why are they not all open to the public? I'm not sure where that's...
Well, I'm not...
What your take is on that?
Well, I'm not a sitting commissioner, so I do not have information regarding the properties and that are owned by the county and what is being done to them. So, kind of a difficult question for me to answer without having knowledge of it.
Ms. Carlo.
Well, I would like to respond to that. There is a capital work improvement program for the county buildings that we have started about 4 years ago, when improvements with the courthouses, the prosecutor's building, the nursing home is in the process of still with the improvements. And I am not familiar with any areas that the public is not able to come in if it's appropriate. I don't know, maybe they want to go into the jail, I'm not quite sure, but I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay, thank you. What can the commissioners do to help local farmers? Ms. Carlo.
Well, I think we do, right now we work with our state rep on any laws and the CAUV, which is a priority there. We work with the Farm Bureau. We're very closely in making recommendations when they have their annual meeting and their biannual meetings on things that we think that can help as far as safety or improvements with their land. But the 4-H is also something that the commissioners help with. We have donated money for the fair for the 4-H projects. We try to encourage youngsters to look at farming as an opportunity, but I'm not sure as a county commissioner exactly what we could do to really hands-on help them other than to buy their produce.
Ms. Whittington.
Buy locally. Once again, I also agree that hands-on, there's really not, it's not a county commissioner piece. However, working to facilitate those conversations with the state, working buy locally, working with our 4-H, many of my nieces and nephews have grown up in 4-H. We live in farm country. My son is part of FFA, so we are actively in the farming area to participate, and I think educating our children that, you know, we need farmers. We need to keep that going. It's a vital part.
Thank you. Ms. Whittington, what are the main obstacles for growth in Ashtabula County?
I think first and foremost, it's our drug epidemic right now, and the crime. And until we can address these and show that we're moving forward and that we've come up with a plan and we're putting it into action, I think that will speak volumes, and there'll be, you know, progress from that point on. But I think until we address this issue and have a plan of action into place, we're going to be at a standstill.
Ms. Carlo.
Well, I think certainly drugs are, and crime is an outstanding issue, but I think one of the other things is the infrastructure in our county. We're a rural county. Speaking from experience in Saybrook, that was always one of the things that whenever we heard that a company wanted to come where there was, and excuse the expression, but clean dirt outside the city. So we have to secure grants through our ports and to clean the land, and then we have to work on our infrastructure, and this will help bring companies here.
Thank you. As we know, being a county commissioner is a full-time endeavor. In what ways will you seek to engage your constituents? Ms. Carlo.
I do that every day. I try to make sure that I stop in a local place for coffee if we don't have early meetings. I make sure that I'm involved in service organizations. I sit on many boards. I sit on the many of the quality board at ACMC and also Board of Trustees. I also serve on the United Way. I think the thing of it is you have to be in your community and you have to be out there to make sure that you know what's going on. I also sit on the Drug Coalition Board, the Mental Health, and the Adams Board. So I'm out there, and I believe that you have to make sure that you're accessible. You have to be in your office. You have to have your phone, and you have to make yourself available and comfortable. You have to create a relationship with every voter in Ashtabula. Now, I'm not saying every voter will like you, but you have to extend yourself to make sure that you're there for them.
Ms. Whittington.
I agree with Ms. Carlo. We definitely, you have to be in the community. I've been in the community here in Ashtabula County for over 14 years now. I've been in the front lines with Children's Services. I have been working with the homeless and the hungry for 14 years now here in this county. I think it's important to be on boards. I'm on several. I have several committees that I serve. I do quite a bit of volunteer work. I think it's very important to be in your office as well, be available. I think building those relationships through the boards and volunteering, that speaks volume. I'm also very active in our church. I'm a mentor for one of our youth going through confirmation right now, which is just a humbling experience and honor. So just being part of your community on an everyday basis. She's going to hold the stop sign up. So.
Thank you. Peggy Carlo and Catherine Woodington. Thank you.